Hey y'all, it's Deep Dish from These Aren't Muffins Productions, and Happy New Year to all, and to y'all a good fight. And today, a Kingdom Hearts theory, more specifically, a response to another Kingdom Hearts theory. See, I wanted to try my hand at coming up with a gaming-related theory as a response to HMK's theory about the Sixth Foreteller, so it's kind of a means for me to build upon his theory. But first, let's show some clip from him and his former interstellar fellow Keykeeper Cynical's analysis of the connection between the Guardians of Light and their predecessors, the Foretellers of Kingdom Hearts Key.
There's a theory over on the Kingdom Hearts Insider forums named the Rebirth Theory, and I have to say that it is one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting Kingdom Hearts theory that I have ever read. The theory goes over a lot of different things to do with the current lore of the game. Everything to do with the Foretellers, reincarnation, as well as Xehanorts. Figuring out stuff like, Xehanort's reincarnation, kind of the Seekers of Darkness, as well as the Foretellers and whatnot.
The base of this theory starts with the appearances of the 5 Foretellers themselves, and who are they connected to. This is all theoretical and heavily implied, so let's not beat around the bush and dive straight into it. Unicornus is connected to Riku, Vulpes is connected to Kairi, Angius is connected to Aqua, Ursius is connected to Terra, and Lepardus is connected to Ventus. These connections are not only seen in the similarities of the color schemes of their clothing and keyblades, but also in their voices, as we finally have the revelations of their voices in the latest Kingdom Hearts trailer. Most notably, Lepardus' voice sounding very similar to that of Ventus' voice, who is voiced by Koki Uchiyama. These 5 could either be reincarnations of the Foretellers or altered versions that carry their heart at this point in time. It's really up in the air.
Due to the fact that we have recently received a brand new, Kingdom Hearts trailer for Kingdom Hearts 2.8, with inside of that trailer, we actually got to hear the voice acting of the Foretellers in their Japanese voice actors during the Kingdom Hearts Key back cover section of the 2.8 trailer. When watching this, I thought to myself, what about that Rebirth Theory? Is there any evidence within this small little kind of section of this trailer that actually could prove towards the Rebirth Theory that has actually become very popular within the Kingdom Hearts community? Is there any proof in this trailer from the Kingdom Hearts Key back cover section that that theory could actually be very much true? Through comparing the Japanese voice actors for the Foretellers to the Japanese voice actors of Aqua, Ventus, Riku, Terra, as well as Kairi, I'm pretty certain that this quote-unquote rebirth theory that a user has come up with is pointing towards being even more real.
欠落のない完全な予知書を誰かが持っていて、それを持っている者が裏切り者だと。テラがそんなことをするはずがない。ベンもよく知ってるでしょ。
闇の動きがあることは確かだろう。だが、俺たちの中に裏切り者がいるとは思えない。
俺はレースに興味はないが、アンバースを倒さなければならない。どうすればいい？
欠落した一辺。そこには裏切りの余地が記されていた。ごめん、アクア。まだ帰れないよ。俺、早くテラに会わないといけないんだ。
この中の誰かが裏切り者って決まったわけじゃないよね。きっと待ってるだけじゃダメなんだ。
その通り。
ロストページ。予知書から欠落した一辺があるようだ。
お前ほど単純じゃないんだよ。
And with the height and color schemes matching on both ends in certain ways, you can earnestly believe that these guys would be reborn as the Guardians of Light we know today. Which leaves us with the animal symbolism and intriguing parallels between Sora and Xehanort. HMK explains these traits and how it connects with the spiritual mythology of the ram.
The theme of the animal that directly correlates with the other Foreteller Keyblades and their themes, being a unicorn, a snake, a bear, a fox, and a leopard. Now let's get back to the ram. How does this connect with Sora? Well, because of what the ram represents as an animal. Well, as a goat, it symbolizes faith, peace, respect, balance, vitality, courage, virility, curiosity, sacrifice, provision, sturdiness, nurturing, exploration, initiation, and guardianship. qualities that are all seen within Sora. When looking at the ram, it symbolizes power, force, drive, energy, virility, protection, and fearlessness. Once again, qualities that can all be found within Sora. As he grows, his power does as well, due to the experiences he has and the connections that become immense that can be seen within the game. The ram is also said to show that by one touch of nature, it makes a whole world kin, which can be interpreted as Sora's profound ability in seeing the good in everything and everyone, connecting himself with the hearts of everyone and the worlds, making them kin. The goat is so versatile that it even serves as a vessel for sacredness as well as a vessel for sin. Okay, so if you don't get that bit, a vessel for sacredness is definitely in line with Sora, but a vessel for sin? That right there, ladies and gentlemen, will be a great representation of Xehanort. Hell, everything I've said about symbolism of the goat and the ram can be interpreted as qualities that Xehanort possesses. Sora and Xehanort have always shown to draw contrasts and parallels from each other, so it could be that the Keyblade that Xehanort currently wields could find solace in both Sora and Xehanort, as they both possess qualities of its animal theme.
And yes, the similarities further discussed in HMK's videos is obviously intentional for obvious reasons, but it may be obvious for an even deeper reason than you think, which brings us to the theory I'm proposing here today. What if the Master of Masters had actually taken this Sixth Foreteller who didn't get a script and splintered his emotions and his memories into 5 separate beings, the Foretellers who did? His happiness and joy became Lapardus, while his misery and sadness became Anguis. Vulpes was born from his kindness laced in a veil of fear. His compassion and disgust became Unicornus, while Ursus came from his impulsive anger. Believe it or not, being stripped of his emotions left this Sixth Foreteller without a heart, and thus this Sixth Foreteller is nothing more than a wandering corpse, desperately scrambling to reproduce its heart. This would not be the last time this would occur with an entity being born from an aspect of someone else's heart, as we've seen with Vanitas being the darkness ripped from Ventus's heart. This husk will not be an empty shell for long, as the experiences he endures that lead into the Kingdom Hearts key will mold him into a new person by the name of Ephemera, a child who the Avatar character meets and befriends over the course of the game. This explains how this character is always a member of the exact same faction of the Avatar. Except not really, you figure it out. During the final days of the Keyblade War, which left the world to ruin, Ephemera ultimately ends up amongst the casualties in one way or another, which splinters himself even further into 2 halves and a hollow vessel. One half was a free spirit bathed in light, Ericus. The other was a nightmare and cloaked in darkness, Xehanort. This puts Xehanort's motives to forge the Keyblade in a much more depressing light that makes the conflict all the more personal to him. He subconsciously knows that he is just a shard of what he's supposed to be, and therefore he needs to be complete and defeat the one causing the imbalance between light and darkness that caused the pain and suffering of all these lives to begin with. And that would be the Master of Masters who fractured his original heart in the first place, which leaves the aforementioned hollow shell. What exactly became of it? Well, it wandered as a mere collection of memories, molding itself into a brand new heart, hungry to inherit a body that's fixing to be born, the body that would eventually become Sora. And we all know how many identities he's been splintered into, but the fact that these emotions can be splintered even further means that just like Ephemera, these foretellers and their reincarnated selves have grown into their own people. And of course, Xehanort gives 0 fucks because he needs those shards to return to the whole, whether they are willing to go back or not. And this theory also opens up a huge can of worms as to what it means to be an individual, a person unique from everyone else. If this turns out to be true, prepare to see a lot of the characters you've grown to love essentially give up their existences for the sake of the universe, since a retcon of that magnitude means all of them are going to have to fuse back into that one guy. And that, friends, is why I don't see the established canon of this franchise lasting much longer. But then again, it is just a theory. I'm not going to complete that sentence due to fear of my master barging in and murdering me in the spot. So what's your thoughts on this particular theory? Let me know in another response video and prove to me that I'm mistaken in my opinions. Thank you and have a nice day, HMK. Comic books really do add up, you know.
I'm at Comic-Con!